Madrid, a city not just of sights, but of stories, where cobblestone streets whisper the secrets of kings, poets, and revolutionaries, where every fountain, square, and shadowed alley carries a heartbeat, a memory, a tale. In this immersive journey, we're not just visiting Madrid, we're peeling back its layers. From its regal core to the fringes where castles sleep in silence, these are the 13 wonders of Madrid, each a story waiting to unfold. So buckle up, wanderer. We begin at the pulsing center of this Spanish marvel. Right at kilometer zero of Madrid's spiritual map stands the jaw-dropping Palacio de Cibeles, a white symphony in stone. But to call it simply a city hall is like calling the Taj Mahal a tomb. No, this is a cathedral of civic pride, a palace of glass, arches, and dreams. Designed in 1907 by Antonio Palacios and Joaquin Otamendi, its original purpose was far less grand, the city's postal and telecommunications hub. But even then, they built it like royalty might stop by to mail a letter. With its towering spires and a facade that seems knitted rather than carved, Palacio de Cibeles blends Gothic inspiration with modernist audacity. From every angle, it's a different story. A fairy tale tower here, a solemn civic hall there. Step inside, and you'll find an atrium that feels like standing inside a snow globe made of marble and glass. Now a cultural center, it houses art exhibitions, lectures, and the crown jewel, Centro Centro, an observatory platform that gives you an eagle's eye view of Madrid's arteries, rooftops, and soul. And then there's the cafe on the rooftop. Oh, that cafe. Sip a cortado while gazing at the tiled sea of Madrid's historic skyline. It's as close as you'll get to drinking in the city itself. By day, it commands attention. By night, it becomes a glowing palace, defying time and silence. It's not just where city matters are handled, it's where Madrid comes to reflect on itself. Just in front of this stony temple lies a queen of myth and marble, Fuente de Cibeles. She's more than just a fountain. She's the divine matriarch of Madrid, the eternal protector. Carved in 1782 by Ventura Rodriguez, this fountain doesn't merely decorate, it reigns. It features Cybele, the Phrygian goddess of fertility and nature, riding atop a chariot drawn by two majestic lions, representing the mythological figures Atalanta and Hippomenes, forever transformed into beasts for daring to challenge the divine. But there's more here than ancient tales. Cibeles has become an unofficial shrine. When Real Madrid wins, the city floods this intersection. Fans drape scarves on her, chant songs, and light fireworks. She doesn't smile, she doesn't blink. But you know she approves. And traffic? It dances around her in a constant, respectful circle. In Madrid, time flows like a river, and Cibeles is its stone anchor. The fountain's white marble shimmers golden at sunset and chills under blue nightlights. She's photographed, worshipped, and sometimes just quietly admired by insomniacs on midnight strolls. Here, history, mythology, and modern life converge. Cibeles isn't just a fountain, she's Madrid's spiritual heart. Walk just a few steps toward the east of the fountain, and suddenly, there it is. Rising like a triumphal echo from ancient Rome, Puerta de Alcalá, Madrid's very own Arc de Triomphe. Built in 1778 by King Carlos III, this granite gate once served a practical purpose, marking the eastern entrance into Madrid. But today, it's far more symbolic. It's a stone poem carved in neoclassical grandeur by architect Francesco Sabatini, the royal architect of the Bourbons. Look closely. This isn't just a gate, it's a story told in stone. 5 arches stand tall, 3 main ones and 2 smaller ones flanking them. Adorned with royal coats of arms, laurels, lions, and war trophies, each corner whispers of Spain's imperial pride and Enlightenment-era confidence. Legend says that Carlos III, known as the best mayor of Madrid, had this built as a statement, "Madrid has arrived," and stand before it. And you'll feel it too, the thrill of entering a city that knows its worth. Its name, Alcalá, comes from the ancient Arabic word Alcala, meaning fortress, a reminder of Madrid's layers of Islamic, Christian, and Roman roots. Come at twilight, when the orange sky reflects off its time-worn stone, and watch as lovers walk by, street musicians serenade, and tourists gasp. It's not just a gate, it's a portal to a Madrid that never sleeps. Behind the Alcala Gate unfolds a kingdom of green so vast, it once belonged solely to the kings. El Retiro Park, Madrid's beloved lungs, spread over 300 acres. This was once the private playground of King Felipe IV, a Baroque escape from palace life. But today, it belongs to everyone. Artists, lovers, joggers, painters, daydreamers. The park is a living painting. Start your walk under chestnut trees that explode with color in autumn, past carefully trimmed hedges that curve like calligraphy. Around every turn, something new. A fountain, a sculpture, a man sketching quietly under the shade. At the heart of the park is Estanque Grande, the Grand Pond. Here, couples row tiny blue boats while statues of Spanish heroes watch silently. From the massive colonnade, the sounds of violinists and flamenco guitar drift over the water like mist. But El Retiro is not just romantic, it's storied. There are ghost tales from its shady corners, duels that once happened at dawn, secret gardens that bloom only for those who wander. And every Sunday, puppeteers bring the stone pathways to life for children, keeping tradition alive. No trip to Madrid is complete without walking its soul. And El Retiro is that soul. Evergreen, ever-changing. Within El Retiro lies a structure that defies logic, gravity, and time. The Palacio de Cristal. Built in 1887 for the Philippine Exposition, this architectural marvel was inspired by London's Crystal Palace and stands as a glass cathedral dedicated to nature and art. Composed almost entirely of glass and iron, this isn't just a building, it's a dream made physical. Walk inside, and the light doesn't just stream, it dances. Every hour of the day paints the palace differently. Morning rays glitter like diamonds. Sunset glows golden like stained glass in a Gothic church. Inside, contemporary art exhibits by international artists float between sunlight and shadow. The absence of walls creates a canvas of air and light. Everything feels ephemeral, like it might float away with the next breeze. Outside, peacocks stroll arrogantly. A small artificial lake mirrors the glass walls and towering cypress trees. Whisper secrets in the breeze. In silence, under this glass dome, you'll feel it. A stillness that wraps around your soul. The Crystal Palace isn't just a wonder, it's an emotion. Tucked inside the dense fabric of old Madrid, behind narrow passageways and arched gateways, you'll find yourself suddenly swallowed by grandeur. A space so unexpectedly vast, it feels like the sky just opened up. Welcome to Plaza Mayor, Madrid's majestic heartbeat. Originally constructed in 1617 under the reign of Philip III, whose bronze statue still rides proudly at the square's center, Plaza Mayor is not just a public space. It's a time capsule, wrapped in terracotta walls and elegant arches. This square has worn many masks. It's been a market, a theater stage, a bull ring, and even a place of public executions during the Inquisition. Every cobblestone here has tasted the blood of rebels, the echo of flamenco, and the laughter of festivals. The buildings surrounding it, uniform in their elegant facades, hold nearly 250 wrought iron balconies. Imagine, on coronation days, aristocrats would drape silks over them, watching processions from above like gods observing mortals. And then there's the silence that creeps in during early mornings, when only a few delivery carts rattle by and the square rests like a lion. Before the hunt, artists set up easels, musicians hum under archways, and cafe waiters begin preparing tables under the arcades. No matter how many tourists pass through, Plaza Mayor never feels hurried. It holds its pace, regal and calm, like a monarch that doesn't need to prove itself. Take a seat, order a plate of calamares fritos and a glass of vermouth, and for a moment, let time dissolve. You're not just watching Madrid, you're becoming part of it. Leave the quiet rhythm of Plaza Mayor and head north, and soon you'll step into a different Madrid altogether. Louder, faster, brighter. Gran Via is the symphony of motion, a place where Madrid wears its modern soul. Built in the early 20th century, Gran Via was Madrid's answer to Paris's boulevards and New York's avenues. It cuts through the city like a grand river of light, lined with some of the most stunning architecture in Spain: Beaux-Arts, Art Deco, Neo-Mudéjar, all jostling for your gaze. And at night? Oh, Gran Via doesn't sleep, it glows. Neon signs blaze across facades, theaters beam out their marquees, street performers break into flamenco beneath the eyes of 20-story statues. Start at the famous Metropolis building, crowned by a winged goddess statue. Its black and gold dome is the unofficial starting point of Madrid's city pulse. As you walk the avenue, you'll pass the Telefonica building, once Europe's tallest skyscraper, whose construction in the 1920s heralded the arrival of Madrid's future. Shoppers dive into flagship stores. Tourists queue for musicals at the Lope de Vega or Rialto Theater. This is Madrid's Broadway after all. And above it all, rooftops turn sky bars hum with clinking glasses and panoramic views. But here's the magic. Gran Via is grand, yes, but not cold. It's a place where a businessman might dash to a meeting and seconds later slow down to hear a saxophonist breathe Coltrane into the wind. It's the art of the rush and the poetry in the pause. Turn westward now, and you'll feel a subtle shift in the air, a formality, a reverence. As you emerge into Plaza de la Armeria, the sheer scale of the royal palace looms before you, a colossus of white limestone and granite, laced with Baroque dreams. This isn't just a palace. It's the largest royal residence in Western Europe, with over 3,000 rooms. Yes, you heard that right. And while the Spanish royal family doesn't live here anymore, the building continues to function as their ceremonial heart, built atop. The ashes of the old Alcazar, which burned down on Christmas Eve 1734. This new royal vision was constructed over decades in the 18th century. Architects from Spain, Italy, and France came together to raise something that could rival Versailles, and they didn't disappoint. Enter through the majestic staircases, and you'll find halls so opulent they seem almost impossible. Gilded, ceilings, chandeliers the size of small planets, walls lined with Tiepolo frescoes, Flemish tapestries, and Stradivarius instruments that once played for kings. The throne room is still used by the monarchs during state ceremonies. The royal armory houses swords, shields, and jousting gear from the glory days of Spanish knights. The pharmacy smells faintly of herbs, preserved since the days when alchemists served kings. But perhaps the most breathtaking space is the royal chapel, where echoes seem to hover long after the last choir has left. Step onto one of the palace balconies at sunset, and you'll see the countryside unrolling toward the mountains. It's here, perhaps, that Madrid feels both eternal and ephemeral. The weight of empires balanced by the hush of wind. Just across from the royal palace, standing like a stone sister in solemn dialogue, is the AlMudina Cathedral, Madrid's grand cathedral and one of its youngest. Despite its size and majesty, construction only began in 1883 and wasn't completed until 1993, a full century of delay, redesigns, and debate. But what emerged from this saga is a unique structure, a mosaic of styles, neo-Gothic inside, neoclassical outside, and with a dash of neo-Romanesque in its crypt. Named for the Virgen de la Almudena, Madrid's patron saint, the cathedral stands on sacred ground that once housed a medieval mosque. According to legend, a statue of the Virgin was hidden within the walls during Moorish occupation and miraculously discovered centuries later. Step inside, and the interior surprises you. Where many cathedrals drown in darkness, AlMudina is bright, vibrant, even modern. Stained glass windows splash bold colors across white stone columns. A dome ceiling above the nave is painted with abstract shapes and celestial bursts. The crypt below, however, is older in spirit, dim, solemn, and silent, with over 400 columns and burials of nobility. And then there's the rooftop, a narrow, spiral staircase takes you to a terrace where statues of saints gaze over Madrid, as if keeping watch over a city that never quite stops moving. If the palace is Madrid's crown, AlMudina is its soul, tirelessly enduring, forever evolving. Now, brace yourself for something that feels utterly foreign, yet strangely fitting. Head west from the Royal Palace, up a gentle slope toward Parque del Oeste, and you'll find something that doesn't belong. And yet, it feels like it does. The Temple of Debod is a 2,200-year-old Egyptian temple, relocated stone by stone from the banks of the Nile to the Spanish capital. In 1968, as a gesture of gratitude for Spain's help in saving the Abu Simbel temples during the construction of the Aswan Dam, Egypt gifted this marvel to Madrid. It's one of the few places in the world where you can see an authentic Egyptian temple outside Egypt. Set on a reflective pool that mirrors its sandstone columns, Debod becomes ethereal at sunset. The golden hour turns its ancient walls into bronze flame, and photographers gather like pilgrims to capture it. But it's not just about beauty, it's about vibration. Enter through its ancient doors, and you're walking through history older than Madrid itself. You'll find hieroglyphs carved for gods long forgotten, and chambers that once echoed with sacred chants. It's quiet here. Not tourist busy quiet, but temple quiet. A space where you feel compelled to whisper, even if you're alone. It's strange, surreal, and spiritual. And in a city defined by layers of culture, Debod is a reminder that even foreign stones can become native to the soul of a city. Like a river that has fed Madrid's soul for centuries, Calle de Alcalá is more than just a road. It's a living museum, an elegant corridor that pulses from the heart of the city all the way to its outskirts. It's the longest street in Madrid, stretching over 10 kilometers, and every step along its path is a walk through layers of the city's identity. It begins in Puerta del Sol, once the site of a city gate, and ends far beyond in the quiet corners of the eastern suburbs. But the stretch that flows through central Madrid, that's the golden mile of memories. Along this historic road, you'll encounter icons like the Bank of Spain, its vast underground vault rumored to be protected by a moat of water drawn from the ancient river Lozoya. Legend or not, it captures the imagination. Then there's the Círculo de Bellas Artes, a cultural nucleus that has hosted exhibitions, concerts, and literary salons since 1880. But the street doesn't whisper, it sings. You'll hear the clip of leather soles, the hiss of espresso machines. From tiled cafes, the distant horns from passing taxis. And as you move eastward, the architectural language begins to shift, from Baroque to Belle Époque, from Franco-era starkness to 21st century steel and glass. Calle de Alcalá is not about one building or one story. It's about the accumulation of hundreds of them, like a patchwork quilt of everything Madrid has ever been. Noble and rebellious, ornate and practical, intimate and grand. To walk this street is to hold the city's lifeline in your palm. Now, we leave the hum of the city entirely. Head north into the Sierra de Guadarrama, where jagged peaks bite into the clouds and pine forests stretch like green oceans. At the edge of this rugged beauty sits the fairy tale-like castle of the Mendoza, also known as the Castle of Manzanares El Real. Built in the 15th century, this fortress is the best preserved castle in the Madrid region. With its circular towers, battlement walkways, and a backdrop of El Yelmo Mountain, it feels like stepping into a living oil painting. This wasn't a military outpost, it was a noble residence, crafted by the powerful Mendoza family. Inside, stone staircases spiral up to wooden-beamed halls, where medieval tapestries hang beside stained glass windows, and every corridor whispers of knights, courtly romances, and political plots. The castle was a show of power, yes, but it was also a love letter to architecture. It fuses Gothic grace with Islamic-inspired detail. Even the courtyard, framed by a two-story gallery of columns, feels designed more for poetry readings than for war councils. Today, it houses a museum of Spanish castles, and visitors can explore. Everything from the armory to panoramic towers with jaw-dropping views of the nearby Santillana Reservoir. Standing here in the crisp mountain air, you realize you're not just looking at history, you're inside it. Further southeast, tucked in the forgotten plains near the Tagus River, lies a ruin that defies time itself, the Castle of Oreja. No gift shop, no guided tours, no Instagram filters, just stone, wind, and silence. This crumbling fortress was originally built by the Moors in the 8th century and later captured by Christian forces in 1139. It was once a key stronghold in the epic Reconquista battles, guarding a strategic bend of the river and controlling ancient trade routes that stretched toward Toledo. But over the centuries, it was abandoned. Nature took over. Vultures circle overhead. Ivy crawls up crumbling battlements. And the only sounds are the wind scraping through arrow slits and the echo of your own footsteps on weathered stones. Yet, here's the thing. The Castle of Oreja is still alive. Locals say it's haunted. That on certain nights, you can hear the clang of ghostly swords or see a lantern bobbing through the darkness. Archaeologists still find shards of pottery and remnants of armor beneath the dry soil. And for those who seek mystery, this place offers something Madrid's palaces and cathedrals cannot: a raw connection to forgotten history, untouched by modernity. This isn't a postcard, it's a time portal. So, there you have it. 13 wonders, each one a piece of the mosaic that makes Madrid unforgettable. From the regal palaces and hidden cathedrals of the city center to the ghostly castles and natural cathedrals on the outskirts, Madrid isn't a city you visit. It's a city you live through, one heartbeat, one echo, one marvel at a time. But the real magic? It's how these wonders, grand and humble, ancient and modern, coexist in one breathtaking rhythm. So now we ask you, dear traveler, which region of Spain should we explore next in this immersive series? Barcelona, Andalusia, the hidden Basque coast? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell, because we're just getting started on this epic journey through Spain's hidden soul. Hasta pronto, amigos!